Perfect. So, hello everyone. Hope you're doing good, and hope you are preparing for Christmas and for New Year, and you are getting like good like good gifts, right? And not like being lazy. So let's do it as usual. For those who know, we start with US 500, DXY, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT dominance to feel the market, and then we'll dive into more altcoins. And for our second phase, which is the topic for this session, is what to expect in 2023 or the best strategy to use in 2023. Okay, so of course, like I'll be sharing it during this session. So let's do it. On US 500, we can clearly see that we are still overall bearish, trading inside this big falling broadening wedge. And last week, if you remember, we were around this area. I mentioned that this is a very strong resistance, lining up with this upper trendline in brown, lining up with the supply as we had an aggressive movement down from here and multiple rejections. That's why for the bulls to take over from a long-term perspective, we were still waiting for an aggressive breakup of the zone. Meanwhile, we are still bearish. This is simply a correction, just like previously. And if you remember also, I mentioned that I'm expecting a movement downward till this area, and then we'll be seeing hopefully, or maybe, because like of course, like we need to zoom in here and look for reversal around this area before we have the reversal, because I'm speculating a big head and shoulders pattern or inverse head and shoulders pattern. And like for the right shoulder, it is this entire zone, just like this, for example. And if you extend this till here, it would be around this area. But I have it here in orange as this zone because it is a minor support and resistance. We've got multiple rejections from. If broken downward, then we'll be expecting a movement till this area, as I mentioned, which is this support. Okay, but for now, things aren't looking good. We broke below this, and also for those who are also like, if you want, let's go to my trading view profile. You can type US 500 here, and this is it. Okay, so like by typing this US 500 and choosing the first one, that's it. Okay, so you choose this one. You can see all the previous US 500 analysis that I've posted, like that, right? So you can scroll down, like even from 2021 and even from 2020, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, first, I posted that this is a very strong resistance. Then, or like previously, I've posted this that we have a support here, price traded higher, and here price rejected this resistance, we traded lower. And lately, like 14 December, like which is exactly 1 week from now, I've posted this that we rejected the zone, and if we break below this one downward, we'll be expecting further bearish movement because this one is very similar to the previous ones here and here, right? Impulse started, so the impulse is has now started. But as mentioned previously, I'm expecting a shorter impulse than the previous ones. As you can see, a big one to the lower bound, big one to the lower bound, but here it didn't reach, so that's why I'm expecting a shift in momentum to happen. And of course, like it will take time. So, but here you are now, overall bearish from a long-term perspective, and now bearish from a shorter term perspective because we broke below this low. So now we might have a bullish movement. It would be simply a correction before the bears before the bears take over again and push the price lower. Okay, um, give me a sec. Okay, good. Okay, so this is basically it. And as we retest this area, this is a very strong resistance now. It has been acting as support previously, resistance here, support here, support here, resistance multiple times previously, as mentioned as support. And now as we retested, we'll be expecting the price to kick in, which is very important because we want to feel the market. We want to know where we currently are. And the entire market is now more bearish than bullish. Okay, so that's it. It's in fact a very clean structure, a major low broken downward. We might have a retest, but keep in mind that we are bearish. If you go to H4 time frame, this is it. We can see it even better. If you zoom into H1 time frame, as mentioned last week, for the best to take over, we need to see a break below this. We had the break, we traded it lower, and we are currently retesting the zone. So now for the bears to take over again and start the next impulse movement downward, because now it's retesting what? A resistance zone. Previously support, previously resistance, now a resistance. If you zoom into, the H1 time frame or maybe lower, we'll be waiting for something like this to happen and then a break below it for the next bearish impulse to start. When we trade lower, this would be the first support zone that might be holding the price up. So we might have the boost take over from here again or break it downward, and that would be it. So that's it for US 500. Let's move on to feel the market even more to the XY, which is also very important because for those who already know, always because unfortunately, if you want, everything is in terms of USD, right? So like a stock, Facebook slash what slash USD, US oil or like oil in general slash USD, gold, okay, XAU USD, right? Bitcoin slash USD. This is why we keep an eye on the XY. And we previously also, you can also go here, check out my DXY analysis, the first one as usual, scroll down, you can see it all right there. So previously we're expecting this rejection from the upper band to trade it lower, and then we are currently approaching this demand zone. And lately on December 11, I've posted this one that we are now bearish as long as we are trading inside this channel. And we'll check it out now. We are still trading inside this channel, okay? And for the bulls to take over, we need to see a break above a major high and above this falling channel. Meanwhile, we can dive inside the 102, 103.5, this entire zone, which is what this demand zone I mentioned from weekly. So let's make the update real quick. Bukarik, hope you're doing good, and we also got Altug. Happy to see you guys. I didn't say hi from the beginning. I'm sorry. So from monthly time frame, here we go. All right. So we rejected. Oops. Let me remove this one. Doesn't look good here. Okay. And this one as well. So this is the view from a weekly time frame. We might still dive inside it before trading higher, but the look here is more bullish than bearish. Okay, because we are overall bullish, of course. If you zoom out, we are overall bullish from a long-term perspective. We had our impulse, a big correction, and an impulse, and we are currently in a correction phase, right? We might be trading lower just like this, but it would take time. So for example, we might trade higher like this, and then trade lower for another impulse movement and trade like this. Okay, but first, now I'm speculating a bullish correction movement. We'll see it better on lower time frames now. If you zoom in, this is a monthly resistance zone turned into support, also lining up with this massive demand. The reason why this demand is very strong is because inside this big bullish trend, these are the only two places where price got stuck inside the consolidation, right? Consolidation. Okay, which makes it these two, of course, demand zones. And we are currently filling this one. So like maybe later on, if we manage to trade lower, this would be a massive zone indeed, and even stronger than this one, because this is lining up with a demand and a resistance toward support, while this is a support, demand, also lower trend line in brown. So this would be a massive support zone. Anyway, we are still here now. Let's take it step by step. If you zoom into weekly time frame, I can't really add much, but from daily, we can see that if we trade higher, this would be a very important area from this zone till this zone. This entire zone is where I'm expecting another bearish movement. So if you draw this trend line as well, let me show you anyway. Like this, okay? So this area here is at the intersection of this upper trend line, this trend line here, the supply here, aggressive movement downward, lining up with this massive support and resistance as well. So this zone from 109 to 110. Okay, but anyway, let's take it step by step again and again. We are currently here. As mentioned previously, we're expecting a bullish movement, but we might still trade lower before trading higher. That's why we need confirmation that the buyers are strong enough finally to push higher. First, the first alert that we might see a reversal is this consolidation here, is this flat bearish movement. Why? Because when you are in a bearish trend, we'll be expecting what? Big impulse movements, correction movements, big impulse movements, and so on. But when the impulse movements are getting smaller and flat, this is where you know that, yes, the bears are still in control, but they are not as strong as before, right? Which you can clearly see here. Big impulse movements, look at this big impulse movement here, right? And then we've got this consolidation. We are still pushing lower, still making lower lows and lower highs, but not as strong as before, which gives us an early alert that a potential reversal might happen. It would be confirmed, for example, just like previously, by a break above the previous high, and maybe where? Let me check an example. Okay, so this would be it for this bullish trend. So for now, very very similar approach. That's the last high, broken upward, the impulse movement started. That's the last high for now. If broken upward, we'll be expecting a bullish movement. For now, the major one is here. We've got a minor one here. I have my alert around the major one, which you can see here. And if you zoom into H4, we can see it even better. That's the minor I showed you, and that's the major I showed you. If you break this one upward, it would be an alert that the buyers are taking over, but it would be confirmed by breaking above this zone. If this one is broken upward, expect a movement till the 109, 110 zone, which we mentioned previously from the daily time frame, and then we'll be expecting another bearish movement. Meanwhile, and until the bulls take over, until we see this bullish movement, we might still remain bearish inside this channel. Okay, or even trade a little bit higher, reject the upper one, trade one more impulse bearish movement downward before finally the bulls take over. For now, let's see how it goes. But again and again, we are more bullish than bearish. We are bearish, yes, but I'm expecting a bullish movement more than a bearish movement.